name is Kitarvi El Clamoy from Section Charlie, and I'm here to discuss and explain about the meaning and relevance of history, distinction of primary and secondary sources, external and internal criticism, repositories of primary sources, and different kinds of primary sources. History is the study of life in society in the past, in all its aspects, in relation to present developments and future hopes. History also focused on writing about wars, revolutions, and other important breakthroughs. So, history derived from the Greek word historia, which means knowledge acquired through inquiry or investigation, also known as the study of the past. Events before the invention of the writing systems are considered prehistory. History is an umbrella term comprising past events as well as the memory, discovery, collections, organizations, presentation, and interpretation of these events. Let's proceed to relevance of the history. History gives us the opportunity to learn from others' past mistakes. It helps us understand the many reasons why people may behave the way they do. As a result, it helps us become more impartial as decision makers. No document, no history. It means that unless a written document can prove a certain historical event, then it cannot be considered as a historical fact. Of valid historical document: government records, chronicles accounts, personal letters, family tree, biography, and receipts. Distinction of primary and secondary sources. Primary sources produce at the same time as the event, period, and subject being studied, while the secondary sources are produced by an author who used primary sources to produce the material. Secondary sources are historical sources which studied a certain historical subject. So, primary sources tells you about an event and is from the time of that event. For examples, primary sources: speeches, photograph, and letters. Secondary sources tells you about an event but from a time after the event. A secondary source usually talks about primary sources. Examples of these: textbook, magazine, and encyclopedia. Internal and external criticism. Using primary sources in historical research entails two kinds of criticism. The first one is the external criticism, and the second one is the internal criticism. External criticism examines the authenticity of the documents or the evidence being used. This is important in ensuring that the primary source is not fabricated. The second is the internal criticism. Internal criticism examines the truthfulness of the evidence. However, this criticism requires not just the act establishing or accuracy but also the examination of primary sources in terms of the context of its production. Repositories of primary sources is a listing of over 5,000 websites describing holding of manuscripts, archives, rare books, historical photographs, and other primary sources for the research scholars. Different kinds of primary sources. Primary sources may include diaries, letters, interviews, oral histories, photographs, newspaper articles, government documents, poems, novels, plays, and museum